The Polyglot Gathering is organized by Education at Internet.
Hello, everyone. Cantonese sentence final particles, the secret sauce of expression. What is that, leh? If you don't know, leh, I will now tell you lah. This is not my actual accent, so it's actually really mentally straining to speak like this, so I'm just going to switch back to my normal accent that you guys are more used to. So, by the way, welcome to my talk. My name's Aurum, and first of all, just heads up, there's going to be a lot of filler words because I'm chronically sleep deprived. And I'm surviving with 4 cups of coffee today, so if I forget the words, yeah, please bear with me. I will find them. So first of all, who here is learning a Sinitic language or a Chinese language? You guys. Quite a lot of hands. Who here already knows a Sinitic language? Great stuff, great stuff. Who here already knows Cantonese? I'd be surprised if you guys didn't know Cantonese, to be fair. Okay, let's go into the next slide. So, who's this guy? Thanks, Kenneth. I grew up in Hong Kong, so I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to like Cantonese sentence final particles. My name means gold in Latin, and that's probably the most interesting thing about me. I live in the middle of nowhere in England. Does anyone know where London is? No, I'm joking. It's actually a really small town called Birmingham. Right. Okay. I'm not going to expose where I live. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So I think I'm funny enough. Let's move on. Otherwise, I won't have time. So Cantonese difficulty stereotypes. Let's open a can of worms here. An initial discussion. From what you've heard about Cantonese, what's the most difficult feature? Go on.
Speaking and writing are not even close.
That's a really good one. Any other answers? Yeah, go on. Yeah, like that. Like tones are like the most infamous feature about Cantonese. So we have 6 tones, or if you count 9 sounds or whatever. It's really difficult for non-native speakers or speakers of learners of who don't speak any tonal languages. So totally understand that, but the language doesn't care about you. You're gonna have to suck it up, I guess. So what is this? Does anyone recognize this dish? Egg fried rice. This is egg fried rice. So what happens, like this is a normal sort of like plain egg fried rice, if I must say. Got like peas and carrots in there, but what if you add a bit of sauce onto the egg fried rice at the end? That's going to make the whole sauce more, it's got to give the whole dish a bit more depth, it's gonna be more profound, and you've found the meaning of the universe, basically. And not only that, more importantly, you know it's egg fried rice, but changing the sauce changes the dish itself in a fundamental way. So that's basically what sentence final particles are about. Go majority, go sentence, mod final, Jorty. They're not particles. I think means sort of like assistant words, assistant phrases. So sentence final particles, basically. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, we're not done yet. So one of the hardest things about Cantonese SFPs is something you kind of have to internalize in a way, like as as you learn it. You can't really learn it by rote. That's the scariest thing about it. So what's the first feature of SFPs? So they live at the end of sentences. Yeah, you don't say. So this is an example of it. So 佢到咗捷克啦. Third person singular has arrived in or at Czechia. What's that over there, you might ask? It's a sentence final particle. But what does that mean? You can sort of like map each of the words in the whole sentence to a single English term. For example, like he has arrived at Czechia. But with the last one, it's basically except the last one. So it's so hard to translate into other languages. It's hard even if we were to explain what it means in Cantonese, let alone in English. So I'm going to come back to this particle later, actually. I'm going to give you quite a lot of explanations as to what it is. So the second point of it is they add a lot of emotions and change the subtext of the sentences. So before we go into examples, I just need to bring up this fact. So you won't ever find them during news reports, because you need to state facts are very objective in a very objective manner, and you can't add any sort of emotions in there. So SFPs are generally not used. So earlier, this particle sort of means in this context already is just like a generic one, very simple, right? On to the second one. Like you can't even see the bottom line. So it means already. So do you have a question? Sorry.
Yes, sorry, very quick question. What romanization are you using here?
So it's called Yutpeng. So just a quick explanation. That's Yutpeng. So basically using Roman letters with a number attached at the end in order to sort of indicate the tone. So in this context, it's kind of emphasizing already, but it's strongly assuming that the other person doesn't know that already. So you can't really say that in English using one particle. There's another form of already, which sort of means like relieved disappointment. At least that's how I would use it. That is something that you wouldn't say explicitly in an English sentence. For example, like the one earlier that I gave you. So on to the third point. You can combine them, actually. What a nightmare. So sort of like different particles can be combined into one particle. I doubt anyone will be able to read all of those, so, and I can't be bothered to explain them, actually, because it is very difficult to explain. 佢走啫嘛，佢走㗎啦喎，佢走㗎嘛. They all have sort of different implications. I put some memes and emojis at the end of the sentences to kind of indicate what that actually means. So I guess the closest thing to SFPs in English would be emojis. So 佢走啫嘛, yeah, it's actually a quiz question. No, quiz time. I guess up for a quiz. Oh gosh, not another one. So, so I'm going to give you a base sentence. 佢唔記得. 佢 third person singular. You've seen that before. Don't 唔 and 記得 remember. So that's a base sentence. It's a very simple fact. He doesn't remember. For example, I'm just going to use he so that I don't have to state every single third person singular gender here. So first question. 佢唔記得啫嘛. You've seen that before. Who here thinks it's A? So he doesn't remember apparently. So there's sort of like an implication in the sentence, sort of like altered by the sentence final particle. Who here thinks this sentence means A? Raise your hand. Who here thinks it's B? What about C? What about D? Please raise your hand. Cantonese speakers, please raise your hand. So in this context, it would be, yeah, he doesn't remember, and that's literally it. What's the problem? 佢唔記得啫嘛. So I'm just going to act out every single sentence from now on. Question number 2, just to give you more of a feel of what particles might feel like. So 佢唔記得咩? 佢唔記得咩? What does that mean? A, B, C, or D? A, raise your hand. B, raise your hand. C, raise your hand. D, raise your hand. We've got an interesting mix here. So the answer is actually A. So wait, he doesn't remember. I'm going to use the exact same facial expression so that it gives you guys a more of a feel of what actually is. So you guys make the connections between them. So question number 3, 佢唔記得啩? 佢唔記得啩? A, B, C, or D? A, please. He doesn't remember, and it's really affecting me. I don't think it's really affecting me. So B, he doesn't remember, and that's an insult to my ancestors. C, he apparently doesn't remember. And D, he doesn't remember, and stop bothering me about it. Right, okay, so if you answered D, you'd be wrong. The answer would be C. So thank you for those who answered C, and thank you for coming to the quiz. And the next activity that I want to bring to the table, I need 2 volunteers, please. So Ruben and Lucas, please come to the stage. I'd like you guys to do a bit of acting, if you don't mind. Are you guys good at acting?
Sorry?
Are you guys good at acting?
Let's see.
Let's see. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a base sentence, right? So you don't really have to remember. You can read it off the screen. So you don't have to care about the tones either. So it would sound like 佢哋走. Try it now.
佢哋走，
Yeah.
佢哋走，
Yeah, that's not too bad, Ruben. You've done it the best actually. That I've seen among all the non-Chinese speakers. So person 1, who wants to be person 1?
Sure, I'll be person.
You be person 1. Lucas, you be person 2, if that's okay. So give me a gesture of like a hand gesture. Like how would you? What kind of hand gesture you'd use alongside questioning something? Yeah. And person 2, Lucas, what sort of hand gesture would you associate with reinforcing a fact? Very strong, so strong man. Person number 1, Ruben, how would you doubt with your hands? We cross your arms, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, sort of like,
Yeah, with your arms kind of easier with your face, but...
Yeah, great stuff, actually. And person 2, Lucas, yeah, probably, but unsure.
With the hands, yeah, like this.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Something like this, like...
Okay. Yeah. So those are the particles at the end that you're seeing in blue right now. La, la, me, gua. So those are associated with the emotions that you guys just acted out.
Could you repeat the first 2?
La, la, me, gua. I told you guys you don't have to care about the tones. You don't have to care about the tones. I know it's difficult. So, but if you want to try, feel free. I'm not stopping you from.
Maybe one more time.
Yeah.
I do want to try to get it right.
Okay. So la. That's not bad. Try your second one. Me.
Meh.
That's good. Lucas, if you want to try it, feel free.
Can you go again?
La.
La.
yeah, it's like sort of like flat tone. It's just like your natural pitch. And gua, it's the same tone actually. So let's piece everything together. If you guys are ready for it. So try the base sentence again. 佢哋走.佢哋走. So do you remember the hand gesture for questioning?
I was going for.
So try doing the hand gesture alongside the sentence plus the particle 佢哋走啦.
Okay.
佢哋走啦. Not bad. Person 2, it would be 佢哋走啦 and reinforcing the fact.
佢哋走啦.
Yeah. I can see your fist, yeah. That's good. And doubting 佢哋走咩?
佢哋走咩?
You've got a natural talent for Chinese languages. You might want to learn some. Okay, so person 2, Lucas. Yeah, probably, but unsure. 佢哋走啩?
佢哋走啩? Gua?
Try again. 佢哋走啩?
佢哋走啩?
Yeah. So you look a bit unsure, so I'm gonna give you a pass. Yeah, please give them a round of applause. Thank you both. Thank you both. Very good acting there. So basically, these particles kind of represent the emotions that those guys just acted out. But obviously, in real life, the emotions are not acted out as in such an exaggerated way. But that's something that I would do because I did do drama at school. So they're actually more SFPs. What a surprise! So 更多嘅句末助詞啊. So this is like a list of SFPs that you normally see here in Cantonese. So I'm going to get back to it later, actually. So there's a slight caveat. So if you have a look at the bottom, like remember what I wrote at the bottom. So I've got a source there, but I've also got something in white. To have ge, ga, la, team. So I'm gonna explain, like for example, like 3 of those in a bit more detail. So let's start with ga. Let's start with ge. So it's sort of used in assertions when something's kind of emphasized. So it's usually high. It's kind of in front of what's being emphasized. So it's kind of like in Mandarin, if you know Mandarin, 是 ... So it's this sort of formation. So for example, 佢係咁樣嘅. So it means he is like that indeed, as opposed to he's like that. So you can use this particle to express this sort of sentiment. And then you have la. So it kind of highlights a change in situation and adds a sense of sort of like relevance to this statement. It's very similar to ge, but it's slightly different. I'm going to go back to this a bit later. Why they're so sort of like similar. So 得咗啦. Cool stuff. It's a success rather than it's just simply a success, like that plain statement. But with la, it's sort of like cool stuff. It's a success. It's a change of the state. And then you have team. This is an interesting one actually. It's got like several meanings depending on what the sentence was. So in my example, it would be not only but also. So 我仲去埋 Bernal team. So not only did I do what was implied that I mentioned was done by me previously, I also went to Brno. If you being phonetically accurate. So that's why I said you guys might want to internalize it if you're learning Cantonese. You also have more, so this is like a table. Thank you, Samuel, for the information. And this is sort of like a table of the sensitive phonic particles with the initial consonants on the left and the tones at the top. So you sort of have like evidentiality on the fifth tone. You have the Mandarin le kind of, it could be translated into any of those on the third row, as well as just kind of on the fourth row. So it is sort of like a matrix. They're not rules. Again, it's the same point I'm going to come back to a bit later. Actually, next. So that's not even the whole list. That's not actually the whole list. But what does whole actually mean? What does whole even mean? Vsauce. So if you remember the white sentence that I put at the bottom, it's slightly altered to reflect my own idiolect in 2025. Language fans who can speak Cantonese tend to get into sort of conversations as to what SFPs would normally mean, because it's just, as I mentioned, it's actually really difficult to explain what they mean, even in Cantonese, or let alone in English. So most of these particles, Cantonese speakers would use them sort of like the same way, especially if you in the same generation. But say if you just talk to people in a generation above, or 2 generations above, or the generation below even, they probably use SFP ever so slightly differently to how you use them. So yeah, that's literally just the idiolectal variations or dialectal variations that people would have. And Cantonese changes all the time. I remember that there's some SFPs that I would use very differently to how I would use now. Even with just like 10 years ago, when I used to swear a lot, actually, at school. Now I can control my swearing, but like I would use an SFP alongside a swear word. That's something that I wouldn't use nowadays. I'm not going to say it on camera. So the bottom line is, why even bother? Got 6 minutes left, so why even bother? 點解咁麻煩啫? That is another SFP, highlighted in blue. So in an output context, who here is a news anchor? I don't think anyone here is a news anchor or a reporter. You? Not yet. Maybe in future. So in an output context, you're not a news anchor. Come on, like you have emotions. Everyone's got emotions, so express them, please. So in an input context, it's like gaining a mind-reading superpower. So you just kind of know when someone's being annoyed. They want to say something sarcastic. They can't wait to go. They can't wait to go, for example, like that. And you can hear it in the tones as well. Actually, if the tone kind of goes down, we don't really have a really distinct falling tone in Cantonese. But if the tone falls, if there's falling tone at the end, it could have slightly different meanings to if it was just like, for example, like a third tone, a flat third tone. If it kind of goes down, you sort of get the idea that someone's probably expressing another emotion to what you were kind of expecting. So why do you even bother learning noun cases in other languages? It's literally the same concept. So it's probably easier than Polish noun cases. Like who here has successfully learned Polish? I know you have, but so you've successfully learned Polish. So I can easily tell you that it is, if you do it the right way, it's easier than Polish noun cases. Unless you speak a Slavic language, then I've got nothing to say. You speak a Slavic language already, I've got nothing to say. And of course, B2 is good. Who doesn't want to reach C1? So I got into a discussion with a mate earlier, whether SFPs are considered B2 level, C1 level, it would probably be a C1 because you kind of understanding more the cultural context of the speech. So how do you actually learn it? So a lot of spoken input with like visual aid, for example, like film. I highly recommend Stephen Chow's films, which like the older Stephen Chow's films, Shaolin Soccer, or what are the other ones? Yeah, Kung. Yeah. So basically, Stephen Chow's films, they're like an absolute goldmine for emotional exaggeration, and they use a lot of they have a lot of playful usages of SFPs. So when you're watching those films, I recommend paying attention to the emotions and the context of the film, like what the scene is about. If it's like a heated discussion, or like the people shouting at one another, you'd expect the SFPs to be sort of like angry ones, showing frustration. They're holding their fists and things, and you hear like some of the R's and a lot of the ruder SFPs. So when it comes to actually practicing, there are genuinely no stupid questions. So what I mean, now here's a secret, even native speakers can't explain them in many ways. So it's kind of, it's more about understanding it through conversations rather than learning them through textbooks. You can learn a few of them, a few of the basic ones, and that's probably going to boost your level. But you can't learn absolutely everything because we don't learn absolutely all the sentence final particles that other people would use either. So allow a lot of discovery, trial and error. Just say, maybe if you used a wrong sentence final particle, people might laugh a little bit, just find it a bit humorous. And then slowly you're going to get a lot of aha moments. Which is, oh right, okay, I'm hearing this particle, and I'm naturally sort of absorbing the meaning of the meaning of the sentence in a subconscious way. So a lot of moments of realization. So just remember they're easy in Polish noun cases, and you'll be fine. So conclusion, I hope I've been funny enough. I'm so sleep deprived. So prizes for someone who can provide information for each of the following, actually. I'm gonna count down to 3, and someone's gonna give me a general fact about Cantonese sentence final particles. So 3, 2, 1. You. Yes. So here's please come down to the stage for some Hong Kong snacks. Congratulations. Second one. So why even bother learning them? 3, 2, put down your hands. 3, 2, 1. I think it's you. Yeah. Yes, it makes it more engaging, actually. So, congratulations, you got a second prize. Finally, I've got one more box of that. So a good tip for learning them: 3, 2, 1. Ruben. That's essentially the only way to do it. So congratulations for getting that. Okay, so basically that's the end. I hate Polish noun cases. That's one of the conclusions. So 多謝晒你哋啊. Thank you very much. So any questions? No, genuinely no stupid questions. So first of all, have you met non-Chinese L2 learners of Cantonese who really got SFPs right, I think, Cole, where are you? You've been getting them right. How long did it take you? Yeah, that's a really good thing. So congratulations, keep it up. So yeah, so basically I have. Do you still use lu or have you defaulted to la? So some people think it's like cutesy, but I still use lu sometimes. Like it's very occasional. Say I'm like really disappointed at sort of like an outcome, I would use 佢走咗路. Yeah, 佢走路. So yeah, that's what I do. I'll be sulking in a corner when I say that. So how different is Cantonese sentence final particles in Hong Kong versus Cantonese speaking parts of China? They would probably use the same ones more or less, or probably like 60-70% of them will be the same, but the catch would be they pronounce those differently. So in the other Yue dialects, you'd say you say a lot of the sentence final particles. They're very similar to the Hong Kong ones, but obviously after sound changes, they might sound different, but they mean the same things. So it depends on which dialect you're talking about. Obviously, the further away you are to the Hong Kong dialects, the more different they'd be. So what are some examples of SFPs that have changed, and how did they change? Honestly, can't remember off the top of my head. I know, for example, I think, there's one. A lot of people used to say a lot of bo. Yeah, bo. I know some people still say it in our generation, bo. But I personally don't use it anymore. Lots of people don't use them anymore. They say war. So that's part of sound change. But sometimes when you go to, like, for example, from primary school to secondary school, you get exposed to a lot more other vocabulary or swear words and things, and you might get adventurous when it comes to using other SFPs to sort of deliver humor in many ways. So those are two examples that I can think of, and yeah, I'm wondering, any other questions? Wait, I think I've answered the top. I've answered the top three. Can they be? Right. Do you use SFPs at the end of every sentence? No, that is the point. They are optional, actually, in a lot of the cases, because you get you get the gist of the sentence without using SFPs. For example, if you text in Cantonese, you tend not to use SFPs, but like verbally, you'd hear a lot of SFPs. I text with SFPs because it's fun, but that's literally and for example, if you listen to the news, you won't hear any SFPs. But I personally do use them like 90% of the time in 90% of my sentences when I talking to someone, having conversation. So does Cantonese have more SFPs than, say, Mandarin? Yes, absolutely. That's actually one of the points that I failed to mention. Cantonese has so much more SFPs. We don't really know where they came from. They came from like a combination of sources, I suppose. But Mandarin, you have sort of like a handful. Thai, Vietnamese, I'm not sure because I'm not exposed to those languages. But I can easily say that Cantonese has got way more SFPs than Mandarin. It's more varied, and you can also combine them. Do the SFPs get subtitled in films and TV? When it comes to subtitles, it's kind of difficult because when you watch Cantonese films, they are sort of subtitled with standard Chinese, which is basically a form of sort of like Mandarin. So the text would be different, so let alone SFP. So that is something that you probably have to learn, so like audibly. It is difficult, I appreciate it. So do I have a favorite SFP? I'd say, I'm very basic, I say R is my favorite SFP, but if it's like a combination of SFPs, I'd say Golawa. It's like, it's sort of like you're being slightly sarcastic when it comes to like expressing evidentiality. So, so that's probably my favorite one. So yeah, it's fun. So I've answered that one. Do you have thoughts on la versus la? And another clip checked SFP pairs. Do all speakers make a distinction between them? La. I say most speakers would make a slight distinction between them. Again, it's internalized. Not many people can explain them in plain English. You just kind of have to get the feel of it, but they are ever so slightly different, and most people would either understand it when they will hear the difference when they hear both of them at the same time, or they use them differently. But they're obviously, depending on the person, there might be mergers. They might get merged. So how different are Singaporean English SFPs from Cantonese ones? So I think Malays and Tamils use them as well as Cantonese speakers in Singaporean English. Actually, I'm not sure how to answer this question because I'm not that knowledgeable in that area. So, is anyone more knowledgeable in this kind of area? Like you? Yeah, I'd say I did go to. Hall. Yeah. So there are some, so yeah, the bottom line is there are some slight differences, but they are pretty much the same. They're pretty the same. Yeah. So just a thought, they're quite similar in use and function to modal particles such as German, doch, ja, etwa, or Russian, je, wiedz, razvie. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing them correctly. That's a good point. I'll look into them actually. That's quite an interesting point. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I've answered those already. Do you know if there are non-Chinese languages that have SFPs? Technically, Mandarin has SFPs. A lot of them do, but they tend to only have a handful of them. Cantonese, for some reason, has a sea of them. So I think that is all of the questions, unless you guys have any more questions. Yeah, thank you very much.